Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening. You remember when Ontario tried to institute guaranteed basic income, I opposed it. I opposed it because it breeds an attitude not to work. But what is happening now? At the time of coronavirus, I would say that yes, coronavirus has proved that there is a need of having a basic income. Now, mind you, I'm not saying guaranteed basic income, I'm saying a basic income. We must appreciate the oncoming slump that is waiting to happen. The lockdowns, once they're over, would make the global economic system very fragile and it would become rentier capitalism, not free market capitalism. If I look at the horrible things that are happening, thousands of the migrants moving from place to place because they have no food to eat, no place to live in until government steps in with charity. But charity is bad. This calls for a definite stabilizing need of an income. So, what was wrong ethically, morally, is economically correct, especially in the times of emergencies, tragedies, or the acts of God. And that's why I'm saying a definite basic income for everybody, irrespective of whether he's earning or not, but not a guaranteed one. The guarantee would be applicable only when there's a tragedy. It was in 1980s that under the impact of Mont Pelerin Society and the Chicago School of Law, people started talking of labor getting definite income. The labor share in the national income gradually fell. A new class structure emerged. The capitalists, the plutocracy is holding obscene wealth, as in India. It's only three families which have more than 70% wealth. In Canada, it's seven families who are having 80% of the Canadian wealth. So that sort of obscene possession of wealth, an enormous economic and political power that comes with it, is a dangerous signal. So in 1942, William Beveridge produced a report that shaped the post-war era. And the challenge was to slay five giants: disease, idleness, ignorance, squalor, and war. Today, because of coronavirus, and as I said, we are entering into a rentier capitalism. I foresee six modern giants which have to be slain if people have to lead a normal life. And these six giants are inequality, which I talked about yesterday, insecurity, debt, stress, precarity, automation, extinction, and neo fascist populism promoted by people like Bernie Sanders, Alexander Cortez, and others. So one could call coronavirus as a ninth giant or the giant that is triggering a global system to a total depression. People normally compare, and so do I, coronavirus to Spanish flu. 100 years back, it caused 40 million deaths globally. But then there was a recession after that, and that recession continued till 30s. But in 1920, USA was the supreme economic power and was able to bounce back with an inbuilt resilience. That's not going to happen today. At that time, the private debt was less than 50% of the GDP. And now look at the situation today. US private debt, which is supposed to be number one country in the world, is 150% of GDP, from 50% to 150%. So if you pay the total GDP plus 50% more, that's public debt. And then corporate debt, 73%. Finance accounting, 350% of the GDP. Imagine, 350% of the GDP is for the finance debt of the corporates. And the big corporates are tied up with a global supply chain in which disruption at any point could simply demolish this fragile economic system. So we have seen the bills of taking away. We have seen the stimulus being provided, but they are of no use. Ultimately, the biggest demand shock in the modern history is going to happen now. And this is where basic income comes into operation. It moves from the desirable to essential. We have to ensure that today we are not talking of necessities and comfort and luxuries. We talk of essentials and desirables. That's it. And after years of loneliness, the basic income is finding converts and open advocates. Now, it will be important to take into account the lessons learned through schemes that have been implemented. I want to make many things clear. First, there is no lump sum capital payment. The habit of the government says, as Prime Minister Harper did, stimulus to the auto industry. Obama did, fixed lump sum to GE. No, that and GM, of course. That's a mistake that has been made several countries. It in fact includes a weakness of will effect. It induces a gambling mentality of spending all in one go. Easy come, easy go, leaving the person or the corporate vulnerable in the next phase. This is in which Canada did it with the refugees, gave them a lump sum. No, then they waste it in luxuries or impulse purchases, and then again are back to square one. So regular modest payment is required, and that would improve behavior and capability. Then the basic income should be quasi universal. It can't be universal. Let's be very clear. It has to be quasi universal, and that's why I don't call it a universal basic income. It applies to the usual legal residents, not to the residents or citizens living abroad, not to the recent migrants. Say somebody has just gone and become PR. No, he's not entitled to it. Otherwise, there will lead to a flood of migration and to xenophobic opposition. And that's why, in my message to the Prime Minister, I had said that today there's a need to curb immigration, and the action has been taken on that. And immigration has been curbed because these immigrants, when they go, would partake of the piece of cake. And my pie is a small pie at a national level. So the new residents, I'm not talking of citizens, because the citizens are put in couple of years of residency over there. So new residents and the new migrants are not entitled to the basic income I'm promoting. I'm saying it only for the citizens, and then nobody will be able to blame the authorities for xenophobic opposition. See, if some say India gets under CA 100 people from Pakistan, they should not be entitled to basic income. Give them charity if you want, but not the basic income. So this means that everybody has equal basic security or equal command on the limited resources. But as I said, it's only for the citizens, it's not for the refugees, it's not for the new immigrants. Then it is means tested. People must have means to repay that or to work it out. It's not An ex gratia payment, as I said, no lump sum, is so that the families don't starve, that they have a roof over their head, that they can make both ends meet. That's the purpose. So the litmus test is that it benefits only the real poor, and those benefits would make them strive to work. It's just basic needs are fulfilled, and then nobody's happy with the basic needs, so they will try to increase their income the other way. Targeting mean testing would imply that an impoverished person who tries to raise their earned income faces a poverty trap. So that poverty trap has to be avoided. They should not lose benefits, and in many cases, if they lose, the harm is immense. Crucially, a basic income system should be a source of basic security of the people, as I said: home, food, shelter, period. I don't want them to have the luxuries the way Prime Minister Trudeau had given to the refugees: furniture every 2 years, all the plush residences in the five-star hotels. Why? Put them in holiday inns, put them in comfort inns. Fine, no problem. So psychologically, people have to make that they are not using the helicopter money. They have to earn for it. And when the income is so less that after keeping the wolf away from the door, they'll have to earn more. Finally, a basic income could be an automatic macroeconomics stabilizer. In the old days, the welfare schemes used to be that. That is, amount could be adjusted to the independent commission according to the need of the recession. So it's not a fixed amount. If the recession is decreasing, the amount decreases. If the recession is increasing, the amount increases. So this would ultimately be on a sliding scale, but on the other way, it's an inverse sliding scale. And as I said, no immigrant is entitled to it. And I was very happy when I read President Trump's decision. I wish all heads of the state do the same. Prime Minister Trudeau should do it. Modi should do it. Why not? A citizen has a prior right on the resources of a country. And a new immigrant has not paid his taxes. So why should he get the benefit? Period. There's no discussion, no argument. But as I said, the basic income must not be means tested. It must be on a sliding scale for essential, desirable, and essential. Desirable, he should earn by the sweat of his brow. Essential, he should have as a citizen. Then, a basic income can only be a bundle of remedial policies. It is socially an alternative that is implemented by some countries, but then chaotic to administer. Wherever there has been a guaranteed basic income, there has been chaos, inefficiency, disgraceful, and regression. And that is what is to be avoided. If an employee is given 75 or 80% of his wages on the condition that he does not work, it is obviously a disincentive to work. So when you give a guaranteed income, basic income, and not on a sliding scale, you are giving them disincentive, because not only are the essential needs fulfilled, but even the desirables are fulfilled. And the moment that desirables are fulfilled, and the desirables have a part of comfort, part of luxury, part of necessity. But the moment desirables are fulfilled, there is no incentive to work for 99.9% people. 0.01% may be interested, but that's a negligible number. So I have got to ensure that they are always on the hooks, and then it's sliding scale as I recommended. By contrast, the subsidies trap people into dead jobs, or no job at all. So it's a mean tested benefits that puts people in the poverty. It should not be means, it should be the need based. It's a habit of the politicians to talk of, well, if they don't have the means, people should be given. No, if they have the need, they should be given. There has to be a clear distinction between the two. And a basic income could provide for the basic goods and services that economy will require when the recession is over. That's the primary consideration. Once the recession is over, this basic income goes back to zero, and the communities slide back into the working class, productive class, not on the parasites. Resilience. The beauty of my recommendations in the take that the moment recession is finished, the basic income expenditure goes up. And what the governments are spending millions and millions of dollars into stimulus, that would be saved. This is what enlightened prime ministers and the president should do. And if they're unenlightened and they just want approbation of the people without any capability, then God save those countries. They are going to be in perpetual poverty trap. Stimulus, no stimulus, recession, no recession. I challenge any president and the prime minister to work it and give the benefits to the people. And that president and the prime minister will be doing a yeoman's job. Are you willing, Mr. President, to do so? If you are, you have my support anytime. Thank you.